France and Cussac for round 8 of the World 500cc Motocross Championship. Third position from Hawkstone Park in England, where he increased his points tally. Here's Billy Liles with 273 points. Still chasing the Englishman Kurt NICHOL, still in second position with the 300 points. And the man that those two are trying to catch at the moment, JOBE, the defending champion with 318 points. Well, today, round 8 of this championship, vital for all those three riders. There you see NICHOL's bike. There's 93, that's Franco Rossi. And here is third place man, the American Billy Liles, hoping for a similar success that he had in England with those 3 heat wins. 25 minutes plus the 2 laps. There's JOBE, number 1 on his back, the defending champion from last year. In the foreground there, number 9, that was NICHOL. That's Warren Edwards, 55, as we say, the apprentice this year in the 500 class. Number 12, Jeremy Whatley. Number 7, David Thorpe. They're all lining up and looking for a good grid position as the 5-second board spins around here in France for Moto 1 to commence. The gate drops. Here they go, JOBE up the inside, and well, indeed, we've got a pile of men and machines. Could well have been Johan Boonen amongst that group, and another pile of machines on the first corner. Well, there indeed was a very brave cameraman. That looks like number 111 that went down. That would have been Jürgen Nielsen, but JOBE it is that has gone into the lead. Circuit conditions very tacky from the overnight rain. NICHOL holding on to second position at the moment, and that's David Thorpe in third. That's Whatley. There is Liles having to contend with the, as I say, slightly slippery conditions. The rest of the riders come through. To pick out who they are. The old plates on the bikes looking just a little bit mucky. So those riders that went down off the start gate and then into that first corner, back on their bikes and beginning to sort themselves out. Number 69, that was the Brit, young Higgsy, Jason Higgs. As they come around 111, there was one of those riders, Nielsen it was, that went down, and Boonen was amongst that group that went down. But we're back at the front. The Belgian, 4 times the world champion, JOBE, looking for his 5th crown down the hill, and now has established himself quite a useful lead from this man. Second place, it's number 9, the British rider, Kurt NICHOL. Looking back behind NICHOL at the moment, it's Thorpe. This is the Thorpe that really everybody was used to seeing. 3 times the world champion, Billy Liles there, trying so hard to take this championship away from this man. Number 1, JOBE, 318 points. He comes into this first moto. NICHOL in second with the 300 points. Well, if they stay as they are, they will indeed stay as they are in the overall positions in the championship after this first leg. There is Liles, back there in 4th at the moment. He's got Jeremy Whatley behind him. The second, the Action Workshop men. Very, very nearly. That was it for Liles. A little bit too much power on the back of the bike. It nearly threw him off. But it's JOBE, Mr. Consistent, Mr. Ever Professional he is, riding the Sinti Honda with the Eric Gabor's HRC factory motors under the fuel tank. And a lead indeed he has, because the Austrian KTM man here, number 9, Kurt NICHOL, looks now to have lost touch with the leader. Looking back for third. We have a battle on for 3rd and 4th. It's Thorpe on the other Sinti Honda from Liles. Liles has got up there now and is going after Thorpe's position. It'll be 15 points if Liles can get in front of Thorpe. Well, Liles has made a mistake, because here's Jeremy Whatley, the other Action Workshop rider, is now challenging the Sinti Honda rider David Thorpe. And there's Liles coming back after those two, so Billy won't be happy with that, but I'm sure he'll be back in that position before much longer. At the front, under no threat whatsoever, there he is, JOBE, number 1. Gorgeous George, as he's now known. NICHOL, number 9, still holds on to second place, and comfortably as well, because we're looking back now for 3rd, 4th and 5th. And it's still Thorpe there in 3rd. That looks like Liles that's in 4th now. Yes, indeed, Billy Liles has got up to 4th. Whatley has gone down to 5th. So the two Johnson's Action Workshop men together. One on the full-blown factory HRC bike, the other one on the slightly more production machine, but doesn't seem to make an awful lot of difference to Whatley. He can stay with the factory bike. Down the hill they come. Thorpe has now lost that third position to Lyles and now comes under threat from Whatley. And look at that, little bit of shoulder charging. He's only about 5'10" is Jeremy Whatley, and David Thorpe is well over 6 foot and a pretty big lad as well. It's a big man's class, this 500 class. Generally, most of the riders all 6 foot or more. But young Jeremy Whatley, the 1991 British Open class champion, challenging a former British Open class champion at the moment and a former world champion, David Thorpe. Ooh, the back end of that bike kicked around there for Whatley. He's going after Thorpe's Sinti Honda. Thorpe, this is very much a production bike that Thorpe's on. Really the first time ever that Thorpe has ever ridden really what one would describe as a production machine. 2 laps to go. The board spins around for 1 lap to go. And here's Gorgeous George looking to pick up 20 points. And that will no doubt make him extremely happy. NICHOL looking at 17 points at the moment in second place. As third and fourth come through, I think we've lost Thorpe, you know. I think Thorpe has gone missing because it's Lyles and Whatley. 26, that's young Brian Wheeler, the Watton underage rider from England. He's having a much better day, but it's George JOBE then that takes the checkered flag and Heat 1 win. NICHOL then chases home in second position. As I say, he picks up those 17 points. And they'll no doubt be happy with those 17 points. Third place then, it was Billy Lyles. And back behind Lyles, it was indeed Jeremy Whatley. Well, looking back, there's Thorpe. Well, he finished in 5th. David Thorpe beginning to show some of his own form that we're so used to seeing over the past years. But there goes Jeremy Whatley back to the park. Ferme and George JOBE takes the applause of the French crowd and receives the trophy. Gets a kiss from the young French lady in there. There's a very interesting trophy. One that's made of glass or whatever, but it's certainly something that's very unusual we don't often see. The French commentator here giving the second place man Kurt NICHOL a really good send-up. And we look back now for third place man. He leads him across. They say the French are very passionate, but I hope he lets go of Billy Lyles. Well, he's done. Billy Lyles gets his trophy. Well, we wait now for the riders to come down onto the start gate for the commencement of Heat 2. There is the first heat winner, number 1, George JOBE. Prepares himself, relaxed, very relaxed is George. Here's Lyles, third in that first outing. Needs really to start winning if he stands any chance of hoisting himself up into the lead of this World Championship. So the pressure is now on Lyles as number 14 slots in beside him. Ronnie Oosterraad. You'll remember Ronnie from 2 years back. Really shook everybody up at the start of this season. NICHOL there slots in beside those two, as well as Thorpe and Jeremy Whatley. 32nd, well, that's a very novel way of starting the race. The first time I've ever seen it done like that. Well, the French always think of it first, if not the Americans. 5-second board spins around, the gate will drop. That's Franco Rossi beside George JOBE, number 93, as they go up the start straight for the second time today. Let's have a look, see who it is. It looks very much like Rossi, indeed it is. Franco Rossi, it's Lyles in second, and it's Whatley, JOBE, NICHOL, Thorpe with some track tape, Anstey was in there as well. Another one of the British riders, there's Dirk Gherkins. They come, that's Oosterraad, number 14 gone through. Boonham was amongst that group. And there is young Warren Edwards, 55. He picked them up, but it's Franco Rossi at the moment from Lyles. Lyles has to start winning. Has to start picking up 20-point maximums from now on if he's to catch that man, number 1, George JOBE. Thorpe looking more of his former self. And the interesting thing about this French track is that the commentator is rushing from one side of the track to the other with a radio microphone. That's something you don't often see. Obviously a very fit lad. Well, we've got a problem here for 69, the British rider. That's Jason Higgs. Well, he retires back to the paddock. Some sort of problem there. But the leader, once again, Franco Rossi from number 5 in second place, Billy Lyles. Then it's Jeremy Whatley. Then it's Kurt NICHOL. NICHOL has to start winning. He's not going to get that championship if he doesn't win. Whatley coming through yet again. Looking back for the leader. It looks now as Lyles has taken the lead. Rossi obviously making a mistake somewhere. There's NICHOL. Well, we really are. And there's JOBE behind NICHOL. Now, NICHOL needs to finish in front of JOBE. He's got Whatley in front of him, so you've got the two British riders. You've got an American, two Brits and a Belgium there. One of those Belgians being the championship leader. There's Whatley, and there is JOBE going after NICHOL. NICHOL desperately needs to keep him behind him. So here's the man at the moment that's looking at 20 points. Billy Lyles, second place, it's Jeremy Whatley, and there now is JOBE, back still behind NICHOL. Now can NICHOL keep him there? Over the big jumps they go. Track conditions certainly excellent in the second moto. Lyles it is at the front, and very happy with himself after those 3 wins in England. With a third, and this could be a win. We shouldn't speak too soon. Commentators curse on a rider. You're probably wondering there in your armchairs where that nice 4-stroke Husqvarna of Jackie Martin's is. Well, I can tell you that he's not in the racing today. He broke his hand on the last lap of qualification yesterday, which was a crying shame. Here comes Rossi, early race leader. Now back in 5th position. David Thorpe, number 7. He's dropped back a fair bit. Obviously that back injury beginning to play some sort of part in his race condition. Schmetz there and Boonen together. Number 17, number 11 to the sound of the horns. Here comes the American. It's young Billy Lyles. Well, not so young as he probably is now. Well, he's younger than I am. So JOBE has got up in front of NICHOL. That's disaster from the Englishman. He needed to finish ahead of JOBE, but JOBE now going after second place. Jeremy Whatley occupies that position at the moment, and JOBE, the wily old warhorse of motocross. He's been around a few years, a 250 champion, a 500 champion. The only class that JOBE has never won was the 125, and he did have a go at it a couple of years ago. Here's the leader. It's Lyles, and JOBE now up into second place. Whatley third, and it's NICHOL that's 4th. So NICHOL now needs to get past Whatley. JOBE will obviously be looking for the lead if he can catch Lyles. Here is the leader. Looking very happy at the moment at the front, and that's where he stayed until the checkered flag. So it's Billy Lyles picked up the maximum. JOBE held on to second position. Kurt NICHOL held on to third. So there you are, the top 3 with our very energetic French commentator. George JOBE, as he says, receives another one of those rather unusual looking plaques. NICHOL it is there in third. Happy with those positions? I doubt it. He wants to win, does NICHOL. Heat 3 comes down onto the line. And under starters orders, the 5-second board spins around. That gate will drop any time after that 5-second period is up, and it does, and here they go. And that looks like JOBE on the inside that's gone for the lead. Someone's gone down. Well, we've got a whole heap of men and machines. Well, Johan Boonen, number 11, is amongst that group. Can't see the others, but it is JOBE that's in the lead. Franco Rossi then second. Lyles is third. Lyles will want to go back after JOBE. That's Mervyn Anstey, the British rider, in 4th. There's NICHOL as the rest come charging through. Gherkins, Schmetz was there. There he is. There's Gherkins just gone through. Ronnie Osterrad, number 14. David Thorpe, number 7. Mortensen, number 15. There's Jason Higgs, the British rider. He's going well. He dropped it on the first corner. He really is on the gas. Oh, we're back in the front once again with race leader, the Belgian George JOBE. 93 it is, Franco Rossi, the Italian, in second. The American Billy Liles, third. Back down the pecking order a little, that's Warren Edwards. He's third of the Action Workshop boys, and Jürgen Nielsen, the Swede, going through. Oh, look at them hoisting these bikes up. Someone there very nearly made a mistake. David Thorpe, number 7. Mix and mash of men all over the track, and the leader here, JOBE it is, gets the board. Rossi in second place, 93. Liles gets a scream on from his wife, Rebecca. NICHOL gets a cheer on from someone. That will probably be his brother Aaron. There's Whatley, and there's Anstey. Well, that's a good ride from young Mervyn. There's Edwards. So Edwards is not going so bad. In the top 10 at the moment. That looked like Schmetz behind him. But here's the leader once again. 20 points forecast on the horizon at the end of this race from the defending champion, JOBE. Liles is still there. He needs to catch JOBE, and look at this, NICHOL is out. There's a problem with the bike. I think that may be an ignition problem of some kind. It's just stopped, and that a very dejected British rider, Kurt NICHOL. Any chances now of catching this man, George JOBE, in the championship are really starting to disappear into the horizon, as JOBE seems to be doing at the moment from Rossi and this man, Billy Liles. Well, the question now is, can Liles get after JOBE? Rossi between them. Italian having a much better outing here in France. Looking back now, and there is Whatley. Well, there's Mr. Consistent. He really is starting to come on as the season goes on. Jeremy Whatley from Ringwood, just outside London in England. George JOBE, the Belgian, still leading, and there's Rossi. Seems to be nothing Rossi can do at the moment about catching the leader, but here's Liles. He's beginning to close on Rossi, so we may, well, look at that, eh? There's the Belgian flag, or at least I think it's the Belgian flag. Whatley, number 12. Well, as I said, he's beginning to put his pace together. Results are beginning to come together as the season goes on. Anstey, second of the British riders. We've lost NICHOL, remember. There's Schmetz, number 17. Winds the bike on as they come down the hill. Here's Ronnie Ustenrad, number 14, on the Kawasaki. I haven't seen a lot from Ronnie this year. Number 71, that's Rudy van Leuven. There's Dirk Gherkins, number 3. Dirk not having one of his most consistent seasons. But here's the man that consistency is his second name, George JOBE. Looking at the moment at a potential 20 points. Back in second place, 93, Franco Rossi, still third for Liles. Seems not to be able to do anything about that KTM that's in front of him. And look, we've got a change at the front. This is Rossi. Rossi has got the lead. JOBE has made a mistake somewhere, but Rossi going now after the 20 points. There is JOBE. He has got Liles parked right behind him, so Liles can see a chance. And I think that may well be that Liles might be looking for the win. Yeah. And someone on the ground there. I can't see who it is. It's Gherkins, number 3. That's the bike that's down. Dirk Gherkins on the floor. He's collided with somebody else. I can't see who the rider is that's steering the riders away from him. But 1 lap to go at the moment. It's Rossi that leads. Here he is, 93 on the bike. This will make this man very, very happy. Looking back for second, it was number 1, George JOBE. But it's Rossi that takes the checkered flag. JOBE taking second. We're looking back for third then. Where indeed is Billy Liles? And there he is, third place and only 15 points. Well, Liles won't be happy for that. Young Jeremy Whatley finishing fourth with the 13 points. Top finishing Brit in this race. Mervyn Anstey right behind him in 5th position. Oh, there is Franco Rossi. This is the 5th heat win that he's had this year in the 500 Grand Prix Series. Happy with it, but with sand to come, not really a serious threat. Billy Liles, who incidentally lost his goggles halfway through the race, that's why you saw him drop off the challenge on George JOBE. A lot of muck got into his eyes, couldn't see where he was going, so he decided to settle for a safe third. George JOBE there, gets congratulations and answers the questions from the press as Billy Liles wets down Franco Rossi. Quite hot here today, in the 70s, near 80s. So Franco Rossi then takes the 20 points. Gets the kiss of the young lady, and once again one of those unusual trophies. George JOBE.
Billy, have you seen NICHOL out during the race?
I didn't know that he was out until George just told me now. I didn't see him on pushing his bike on the track.
Well, bad news for NICHOL, but good news there for Billy Liles, because this now hoists him up to second overall in the world standings, with NICHOL falling back into third. Jeremy Whatley finished third overall on the day here in France. I hope you enjoyed it, because I know we did.